Hey, everybody. Good morning. It is Finish Strong Friday. So make sure whatever you're doing today, you're getting after it. My name is Trey Griggs, Beta Consulting Group, and we are here for episode 97 of Standing Out, a daily podcast about sales, marketing, and leadership powered by Beta Consulting Group. Go to our website and check us out, betaconsultinggroup.com. We're helping companies tell their stories, their messaging, branding, content creation, podcast creation, social media management, all the good stuff. So check us out at betaconsultinggroup.com. Fill out a form. We'd love to work with you. And again, just as a reminder, we do have that swag store now. We want you to be a part of our community here at Beta Consulting Group. So check out the swag store, shop.betaconsultinggroup.com. You can also get to it from the website. There's some links there available. And make sure that you use coupon code BETA-GO to get 30% off your entire order in the month of July. It's our grand opening. We'd love for you to be a part of the community that we're building here. People pursuing excellence daily, getting after it. And so we'd love to have you be a part of that. Pick up stuff like this great water bottle and all kinds of great stuff that's out there at the swag store. And we appreciate you so much for that. Also, I'd like to take a moment and give a shout out to our sponsor, TAFS. So TAFS are the good guys in freight factoring. They are the ones that are doing everything to keep those truckers out there, keep the tires moving, from small business loans to cash flow to discounts on tires and fuel and insurance and everything else that they need. And we appreciate those truck drivers tremendously. So if you own a truck or several trucks, check them out at tafs.com or click on that link that Morgan's going to put into the show today to go directly to my landing page and get started with them. And if you're a freight broker, you can become a referral partner. Make sure that your carriers have all the resources they need to keep those wheels moving, keep that freight moving. And again, we thank those truck drivers tremendously. And thank you to TAFS for sponsoring what we're doing here at Beta Consulting Group and specifically Standing Out. All right, let's get back to the show today. We've got an exciting guest today. We've had a great week of guests. So check them out. All the shows on demand. Got a very exciting show today. This guy, I saw something he did online, and I was like, man, I've got to talk to this guy and have him on the show. And so excited to bring Gunnar on in just a minute. But look at the lineup. We had Andy and Dawn and Will and Chris this week. Amazing shows. Check them out on demand on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn Live, or Twitter, and check those out, or also on audio podcasts as well. All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's get this guy onto the show. He's out of Chattanooga. He's a sales professional, and he's a professional wrestler. Can't wait to talk about this. Everybody give it up for my good friend, Gunnar Miller. Gunnar, what's up, man? Welcome to the show.
What's up? Hey, dude, thanks for having me on the show. It's an honor to be on the show, man. This is a great podcast, and I'm fired up to be on here. So, what's up?
I appreciate it. No, I appreciate it, man. So, all right, the way that we met, this is crazy. It was like just like a month ago, I think it was something like that. Like I've kind of seen your name thrown around. I've heard a lot of people talk about you, but hadn't had a chance to meet you myself. But I saw you put out a death match like video or post or something like that, and I said, "What is that?" And it's like hitting chairs. There's some wrestling going on, and something. What is this? Let's just talk about that for a minute before we even get into who you are. What is a death match?
Sure. So, I mean, obviously, a death match is a part of professional wrestling, and that's something that I also did and do. But a death match is a match in professional wrestling that I would compare to, if professional wrestling is rock and roll, death match is punk rock in the 90s, right?
Nice.
Grunge type music.
Nice.
So it has a very small fan base, but that fan base is extremely loud and crazy. So these matches, anything goes. And the most common weapons is light bulbs because they explode and they break and they bleed. Skewers that like get stuck in your head that you would like put shrimp on a Barbie. You got your thumbtacks, you got your barbed wire bats, you got your tables, your chairs, your Mountain Dew cans laced with barbed wire.
This sounds
wild,
awful.
man.
I'm not gonna lie. This sounds terrible.
It was one and done. I'm never doing it ever again. The guy I did it with actually was around when I first started wrestling in 2014. He's been doing it forever. He's almost known as like a deathmatch legend. That's what he does.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do it with him because he's getting on up there in his career, and I wanted to have a good match with him before he finished.
What was the worst injury What was the worst injury you incurred from that?
Oh, from that, I've got 3 pretty big scars on my back, just like that were gashes from the light bulbs. So when I landed on the light bulbs, it's called taking a bump in wrestling. Like when I landed flat back, I actually hit the side of the light bulb, which is, I guess, the metal aspect of it, where I guess it's gonna be the sharpest part. So that's what kind of cut me up in the worst. And then the door, I went through the door. It was like a legit door. It wasn't like a hallway door. It was like a front door, and that thing got me pretty good too. But other than that, it was all just smoke and mirrors.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay, so death match, not doing it ever again. But what an experience. Why don't we take a moment real quick and just tell everybody who might not know who you are, who is Gunnar Miller, and what are you doing over at 12 Point?
Yeah, great question. So I'm born and raised in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Uh, Everybody wants to kind of put me with like I'm the athlete. That's kind of like how everybody knows me from. Like I played football at University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. I was a 4-year starter. I was team captain. We ran a Southern Conference championship, and that kind of spun off to my pro wrestling career. But my sister is actually a Hall of Fame softball player at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga as well, and that's one of the main reasons I went there to keep that family legacy around. But yeah, I jumped into logistics and I jumped into sales during the exact same month. It was June of 2014. I'm sorry, logistics and professional wrestling. I started working at logistics at Lipsy Logistics. It was a great place to learn, a great place to get a lot of experience. And as far as wrestling goes, I started training with a guy named Ace Rockwell, Josh Massey, who I actually work with now. But he trained me, and then we got in the ring, and I had my first match in March. It was a promotion, like a fundraiser for a lady that had diabetes to get an insulin pump. And then I had my WWE tryout in June in Orlando. It was 3 days. And then I started hitting the road every weekend after that was over. So the first week of July. And I've been doing that from 2014 to now. And I ran real hard from 2014 to 2018 when I blew my knee out. Every weekend I was wrestling at least Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I was working a logistics schedule. So you know how difficult that is. So it was a wild 4 years, man.
I can only imagine. Where did it take you? Where all did you go to wrestle? Was it regional, or did you go all across the country? What you do?
When I was kind of hitting my peak, which was 2017 to 2018, I was in Tampa, New York, Chicago, Nashville, Atlanta, Knoxville, Charlotte. If I didn't say Chicago. That was kind of the loop I would make. And if you looked at it on a map, it would almost do this. Oh, and Washington, D.C. So that was the places that I was in every month.
Yeah. And you got to have a passion for that. I mean, that's a lot of time on the road. It's a big commitment to do that. Yeah.
And a lot of people think like, you make money doing that. Well, you don't. Like when you're doing independent professional wrestling, you don't make any money really. Like you might get paid $20 to $25 for a show, or you might get a hot dog and a handshake. A lot of it is like you're getting your repetitions, like it's your practice. You're trying to get as much ring experience as you possibly can leading up into a big show. And you try to have like 3 or 4 big shows a year to really take those highlights and put them out for people to see them, so that other people want to bring you in. That's the game. And you don't. I lost money doing it. I was always paycheck to paycheck doing pro wrestling and logistics at the same time because I was partying and still going out and stuff. It was wild times, man. But now we're at a much better spot, and I actually make money wrestling now, and I only do it once a month, which is hilarious.
Yeah. Cool. The experience must have been tremendous, of course. And when you're young and you got the time, that's a good time to do that kind of stuff. But you are still doing it. You just had a match probably 2 weeks ago that you won, and now you're wrestling again August 5th, I believe, in Atlanta. Is that correct?
Yeah. So everything's the greater Atlanta area. It's all in Canton, Georgia, which is Cherokee County. The guy down there, Gary Lamb, he's the promoter, and he's also a pastor. And he does events. So the events he does is like barbecue and brews. He owns a t-shirt business. But as the pastor, he doesn't take money. He gets the building that they run out of, and it's like in a strip mall. And that's where all the events are ran out of. It's a genius idea, and he's really good at what he does. So yeah, I do it the first Friday of every month is when I go down there.
First Friday of every month. So August 5th is coming up. Is it like, are you working towards a championship, or how does this work? I mean, is it a league? Like what is it like at your level, what you're doing?
I promise you that no matter what city you're in, especially in the Southeast and the Northeast, if you just take a baseball and throw it, there's a wrestling promotion within that distance, right? So there's hundreds of promotions across the country. Southern Honor is the best promotion in the Southeast, production and talent-wise. So that's the only one I work for. And at this point, I guess you could say I'm doing a run for the championship. So this match I just had was a qualifying match to the Rumble Jack. And then the Rumble Jack, the winner of that, gets a title shot. So I'm the first entrance in the Rumble Jack. There's going to be 30 people in it. You got to throw people over the top rope to win. I'm probably going to win this. and then I'm going to go for the championship after that. So,
So you got to throw them over the top to win the match. I love it. I don't think I should be a part of that ever. And by the way, if you guys are wondering, I am at the famous Iowa 80 truck stop today for the Walcott Truckers Jamboree. That's why you're seeing some people behind me walking around. So we're on site today on location saying thank you to all the drivers that are out there that are moving our freight across the country. So it's awesome to be here. If you've never been here, this is the largest truck stop in the United States. It's like a mini Walmart. In fact, it's not even really a mini Walmart. It's like a big Walmart. I mean, it's huge. If I could spin it around, you'd see it. It's just absolutely unbelievable. But in case you're seeing some action behind me, that's what's going on. So, Gunnar, I want to talk to you about the relationship between college athletics and pro wrestling, what you're doing now, the competition side of it, and your sales career. How has your involvement in those two things, in collegiate football at a high level, and then ongoing with wrestling, impacted how you perform in sales?
Sure. I think, wherever you're at right now in your life, it's just from all of your actions and all of your experiences and all your failures and all your successes just kind of compiling up, and the compound effect is here you are. The person you are today is whatever you've done, right? So there's a little bit of that. To take the college athlete perspective, it's a lot of teamwork, being around the team. When you get into sales and you have a team and you're leading the team, it's kind of the same thing. As a captain of the team, you have to lead by example, and you also kind of have to go up and above and beyond what everybody else is doing. So that also pays into a factor when it comes to team and sales and logistics. You kind of see that. And in professional wrestling, you're out on the road. You're doing it yourself. You're not making much money. You're having to brand. You're having to go to your merch table and sell your stuff, and you're interacting with you're hustling. So there's the entrepreneur aspect of it. Then there's the college athlete is the work ethic aspect of it, and the mindset and the attitude and the self-discipline and the persistence, and understanding that if you fail, it's okay. Professional wrestling, understand that if you fail, it's okay. If you don't sell a shirt, if you don't win the match, if you get hurt or whatever, you're not making money. But, one of the biggest things as far as, sales goes is the pro wrestling in-ring psychology. So the in-ring psychology of professional wrestling is, you're in the front row. I've got to get you to either cheer me or boo me. You have to like me or hate me. And I've got about 1 minute to do that once I get into the ring for you to make that decision. And then your match might only be 6 to 10 minutes. So that whole time, you've got to interact with that person. And then if you can get one person, that one person is going to get the other people to start going down that emotional path. So sales is the same thing. What's the psychology that you got to figure out to get the answer that you want from the person in the shortest amount of time possible? It's very pro wrestling. And with pro wrestling, you got your gimmick and you got to build your brand, and you got to act. Like, you got to become an actor. Same thing in sales. Whatever type of sales rep you want to be, you can be right now. Do it. Turn it on right now. Whatever brand you want to be, do it. What do you want to wear? Do it tomorrow. Like, people get so caught up in this is what I've been doing forever. No. You can be whoever you want to be right now. And I started taking that mindset when I jumped into actual sales in 2020. And, ever since then, it's just kind of been like taking off.
Yeah. And, when you talk about that first moment into the ring, that sounds like a cold call. It sounds like that first introduction with a new prospect, or when you're at a trade show and somebody comes walking by your booth, you got 20 seconds to try to get their attention, 10 seconds maybe, to try to get them to stop and engage in a conversation and get their attention. So I think those are really valuable things. And the other thing, too, that I've noticed in sales is a lot of times the high performing people in sales are the people who are also taking care of their body. They're physically active. They're working towards physical fitness goals or towards mental, goals, towards reading and things like that. I think there's a lot to be said about taking care of yourself and pushing yourself physically, pushing yourself mentally in what you're reading, and your performance in sales. I had that opportunity in 2012 where I dropped about 40 pounds in about 2.5 months, and I started doing P90X. And it was amazing. My sales performance went up when I went through that process because it all kind of carried over. What's been your kind of relationship to that? You're still working out quite a bit, obviously, but what's your thoughts about that in terms of the impact of taking care of yourself and high performance with sales?
Dude, I love this question. I love everything about like this part of it. This is my favorite. Like, sales is cool, wrestling is cool, podcasting is cool. Talking about like your personal development and your journey, and I love this is my favorite part. So thanks for asking. I would say I fell in love with working out when I was probably under 10 years old, watching professional wrestlers wanting to be as big as those guys. And then I hit the gym for the first time when I was 13, going into high school football. And I always was told by my dad that, if you're not going to be the most talented naturally, you got to work harder than everybody. So that was always been my mindset. Try to be the first in sprints, maybe not the first sprint, but I want to be just as fast in the 10th sprint as I am the first sprint. That was always my motto. And in the gym, I was going to outwork everybody. So college kind of, did the same thing for me there. That's kind of how I became a captain. I became our weight room guy, our weight room leader, our hoorah guy, and I just happened to be able to play as well. But, since that time, it's been training for wrestling. I got to be half naked in front of people every weekend. So that keeps you in shape, right?
That's right.
That's kind of
that muffin top,
over,
like a lot of us have.
That's right. And since that's kind of over now, it's just once a month, and it's mainly sales and podcasting and the business aspect of everything. And I have a 6-year-old as well. Like, my thought process now is I want to be a good role model to him. Who do I want him to see? The guy that's eating potato chips and drinking Cokes when he gets home, or the guy that as soon as he gets home is downstairs in his garage gym getting a sweat in, and he knows like this takes hard work, or who's up early before he even wakes up, who's already at the gym because he knows it takes hard work. And I love challenges in that regard. So like currently right now, if you want to know what I'm doing the 75 hard challenge, which is Andy Frisella's challenge.
I've been watching it. Yeah.
And it's simple, man. It's, one workout inside 45 minutes, one workout outside 45 minutes. So you're getting an hour and a half of working out, mandatory, a gallon of water, 10 pages from a book, sticking to a diet. It doesn't have to be a crazy diet. It can just be like eat good 90% of the time type diet, and no alcohol. So that's the challenge. And I'm on day 33 and I feel great. I usually feel good anyways, but when I'm doing these things all the time, I'm at my absolute best. And the one thing that I got to be doing all the time, I've realized, is walking. If I can take a 45-minute walk in the middle of the day, I don't know if I would even need anything else. Like, that's really the main thing for me. It clears my head, clears my mind. You break a sweat, you get some sun, and you just feel so much better. It's literally the most uplifting thing you can possibly do.
Yeah, clears your mind. I love taking walks as well. I mean, I guess it's a part of getting older, right? Because I used to just love to take a run, but now it's fun to just take a walk, hear the birds singing, and see things like that. But no, you're right. I mean, I've attempted 75 hard. I got to say, I've failed it many times. P90X was good for me. I enjoyed that. But think about this: even if you fail at 75 hard one day, but then you get back on it and do it again, like, you still feel good. Like, you're still reading 10 pages a day, which is so helpful. And even if you read 7 pages a day and you have to start over again at the beginning, you're still doing it. Like, you can still take pride in the fact that you're moving forward. So I think anytime that you take on a challenge like that, and you're just persistent, keep doing it, keep getting after it, you're going to feel great. It clears the mind, keeps the body moving the right direction. And I'm so excited for you watching that. I know my friend Chris Jolly just finished it recently. I know Brent Orsuga in our industry is doing it right now as well. So hopefully he's still knocking that out. But yeah, it's exciting just to kind of clear your mind and get things right. It helps you perform, I think, better just in every aspect of life, which is critical. So I want to talk. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, jump right in if you got something else. You got anything?
Okay, man. And Brent, I'm gonna say on Brent. I'm gonna say on him is for him doing it. Haven't even seen any posts, and maybe he's just doing it and not talking about it. But you got to talk about it too.
Well, I'll tell you what, you put it out there and you start talking about it, and then people know, and then that holds you accountable, and it's good. That's the other side of it too. It's nice to have some accountability built in, that somebody's watching you, that somebody's expecting you. We have we do a workout on Monday mornings. My friend Hayden Allred and I do Iron Minds at 6 a.m. on Monday mornings. And I guarantee you that if that wasn't happening, there would be mornings on Monday where we wouldn't get up. But knowing that he's expecting me to be on the call and vice versa, we're up at 5:30 on Monday, getting the week started, getting the day started off right, getting our minds right. And that accountability piece is really critical, for personal development and growth. Talking about your goals, not being afraid to talk about them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to be able to talk about your goals. You got to have somebody to hold you accountable, whether that's your spouse, whether that's a kid, a family member, or whether it's a workout partner. But they're so important, man. Just because, like you said, there's gonna be Monday mornings you wake up and you're good.
So I feel like it.
You'll go do it. You'll go do it this evening, and then maybe you don't. Because that's usually when things happen.
Yeah, you say that doesn't happen,
or things get busy for me. So
I'm a night person, so I enjoy doing things at night. But if I say I'm going to work out at night, it never happens. Because family time or something else comes up, or I get tired. Like, I have a full day and I get tired. So I'm becoming a morning person. Brent Orsuga has kind of converted my thinking there. We've had some good conversations, and so I'm now getting up in the morning to do things, which is good. All right, let me go back to something you said real quick that I thought was really valuable. You talked about how your dad had an impact on your life and said, hey, if you're not going to be the most talented player, you should be the hardest working player. And it reminds me of that Tim Tebow quote where he used to say, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And just that idea of just being the hardest working person in the room. How has that impacted, your sales career in terms of that mentality of just working hard and just staying after it? And is that something that, do you talk about this a lot with the people around you, on your team that you work with? Talk about just the value of just being a hard worker?
I think being a hard worker is not just about like your skill and your education and stuff like that. Like being a hard worker is just doing the things that you don't want to do and doing them as good as you possibly can. Like and being able to measure those things and then being able to correct the mistakes. Like that's all sports is. That's all athletics is. Athletics is. I was talking to the guy yesterday on his show, Andy, and I told him like in sales, the scoreboard for an athlete is the money at the end of the month. Like how much money did you make? Like that's the scoreboard. It's a very easy score. You can do it daily, especially in logistics. But there's so many statistics and numbers that goes behind what that win or loss is going to be in logistics or sales or whatever it might be. So it's understanding what those are, how to improve those, and just staying positive, keeping a good mindset, being around like-minded people, and not being afraid to train every day. Because what do professional athletes do? What does Tom Brady still do at 45 years old? He's still training every day. Should he? Does Tom Brady have to go outside and remember how to throw a football? No. He could not touch a football for the rest of the year, go to the first game of the season, go out there, probably complete 50% of his passes and probably get a win, right? Yeah. But no, to be the GOAT, you have to keep practicing every day like you're still in Michigan as a backup, as a sophomore, right? And that's the mindset he takes. Like his back's against the wall. There's always somebody coming to take his spot, and he wants to solidify himself as being the absolute best. No different in sales. You want to be a professional sales rep, you got to train every day. Who are you training by? I don't care what coach you pick, what it is, what mentality, what solution, whatever mindset philosophy you want to take in sales, pick one. Pick one and train it every day and go do it. And I promise you, you will not get worse. You will get better the more reps you put in and the more attempts that you make. You will fail your way to success in sales. That's the greatest thing about sales. You can suck at a lot of other stuff and it won't work for you. You can suck at sales and become really financially successful in sales. That's how the game works.
Yeah, no, I agree with that completely. And it reminds me of a couple of things. Like it reminds me of Mike Tyson, who used to say, do the things that you hate to do, but do them like you love them. You know, like that mentality, like do the things you hate to do, but do them like you love them. And that like having that mentality of, man, I just acknowledging, I don't want to do this, but do it anyways and change your mindset to do it like you love it. And that the idea of like getting better every day, it reminds me also of Michael Jordan whenever he filmed the first Space Jam, and he had an entire basketball court built on set with a workout room so that he could work out and play ball every day. And this was in the summer, you know, like he could have taken that time off to film the movie. But it was so important that he had a basketball court and a workout facility set. He had his trainer come, and every day he was trying to get better in that summer while he was filming the movie. I mean, those are like 18-hour days because he's got to go film for 12 hours, and now he's working out for 6 hours a day playing basketball and working out. Like to be the best, you have to be willing to do those things and just do the things you don't want to do and do them like you love them. I love that quote. It's a challenge to me to do that, to think in that way. And again, like sales, I mean, sales is competitive. I love what you said. You got to practice every day. You got to make the calls every day. You got to send emails every day. I find now as a company, I get out of that habit, where I'm thinking about other things or I'm focused on, building more organizational stuff, and my sales muscles, I can feel them getting weaker and I have to get back in and build that back up. It's really important to do that.
Well, see, 100%. Even with me at this point, as like now I'm more in a managing leadership type position. So I'm not necessarily just going out and selling for myself now. I'm trying to close deals for my guys. But that kind of takes away the cold call aspect of it and the prospecting aspect of it and the the lead generating. So like then I'll get in here every now and then and be like, all right, I need to throw in 50 leads or something. And it's almost like taking me a second to get back in the groove of the normal flow when I was used to doing that for years. But now it's more of a mindset of like how to create other leaders, how to get people to follow you, how to, like what are the human psychologies of different people, what motivates them. So that's kind of where I'm at right now and everything. But it's all fascinating. I've learned so much the past couple of years just being in this industry and being at this position. I love it, man. It's great.
Yeah. Let's talk specifically about this industry real quick as we kind of wrap things up here in a little bit. You've been doing logistics sales for a long time. What's kind of the best advice, or maybe the right way to frame it is where do you see people failing in logistics sales where they can make a change and get better? Like what kind of advice would you give for somebody, or what are the things you're seeing that you're helping people overcome, especially like in the current economic conditions that we have?
Sure. Well, I'd say the two main ones are not even things that you should have to overcome. Like the first thing is effort. The first thing's effort. Like people make a call. send an email, follow somebody on LinkedIn. Like that's number one. Like literally doing the simplest thing is in like trying to get known. And then the second thing would be having the answers to the objections that you know that you're going to hear. Having some sort of a word track. It does not have to be a script. A lot of people hate scripts. A lot of people love scripts. I'm in between. I think scripts are great, but you need to know the script so well that it doesn't sound like a script.
That's right. Great training tools.
Right?
That's right. Yeah, it's conversational.
But have a word track with bullet points for every objection that you think that you're going to hear. And guess what? Logistics, there's like 3 of them, okay? So I'm not going to give them away. But guys, make 100 phone calls as a freight broker, and you're going to get 3 to 5 objections the entire time if they even answer the phone. Write those down. Write 2 to 3 answers for each of those objections. And then when you make calls tomorrow, just read what you wrote and then get to the next question. Like that's literally, it's as easy as that. And you fail your way to success. And then guess what? When you get pretty good at this, you're just going to fail a lot less.
That's right.
You're still going to fail.
Right.
And you're still going to have success.
It's kind of like golf. I'm a golfer. You know when you're good, when you're playing well, when your mistakes are just smaller. Like you're still not going to hit your target, but am I closer to my target than I was before? Like it's still not a great shot, but it's better than than that. I think that's really critical to be prepared in those types of things and get to the point where it is conversational. Oh man, it's interesting you say that. I heard that yesterday from so and so. Let me tell you why that's whatever. And I heard this one time that made a lot of sense to me. Objections are not no, they're really questions. They're really questions. Yeah. They've got an uncertainty. They've got or a complaint. They've got an uncertainty, or they've got a question that they need you to answer. When you think of it that way, it's like, hey, what's the question here? What's the underlying concern or complaint that they have, or what's the experience that they have that I can pull out of this? It changes the way you think about the answer. And so I like when you can get into the psychology of sales and move in that direction. And the effort piece, this is something I've noticed too. When times are good and people just kind of get soft, because they don't have to try as hard, it's hard to get back into that mode of I need to make 60 dials today. I need to make a lot of phone calls because you just kind of get easy. It's just so important to keep that, that mindset up that no, I'm gonna do the work today. I'm gonna get it done. It's really, really important.
Something that I've noticed with myself, and maybe you've had this happen before, and I see it from guys on my team and guys that I've worked with that were sales reps in the past. Is in the logistics, that if you cover your cost, you're probably not going anywhere. Like you probably have a job, right? If you're bringing in enough revenue and margin, and you show up and you do, and everybody likes you, you're probably good. You're going to keep your job, right? You're going to make your thing, do whatever it is. So people will get to a point where they're making $5,000 to $10,000 in margin, and then they're going to pump the brakes. Now they're going to start making 10 phone calls a day. They're going to cover that freight. They're not going to really worry about going out and building, developing, getting new customers. Because if they do, it's going to take them out of their comfort zone. It's going to be a little bit harder. They might fail a little bit freight. They might have to take some heaters at the beginning to be able to build a relationship. They got to go out and build that. They got to do everything they did to get $10,000 again. And that's frustrating. And it's work. It's work, right? Well, sales is work. Relationships is work. Everything that you do is work, and that's connecting. So that's another thing that I see is just people kind of get comfortable after they do about twice their cost. That's your average sales rep, right? And then you got the people that are like, well, dude, I want to make $250,000. Let's reverse engineer that and let's go figure out how to do it.
Here's what we got to do.
Make 200 calls a day. Let's make 200 calls a day, because I'll make 200 calls a day for 2 years and then not do anything instead of making 10 calls a day for 17 years, right? So.
Yeah, and I think compensation plans impact that a lot too. You get the right people that really want to do well, that are motivated to do well, and I love compensation plans that benefit or that reward additional work or additional performance. Accelerators that are built in comp plans. I absolutely love that when you see that when a rep has, okay, I'm going to make $10,000 this month. That if I do a little bit more, I'm going to get a 2% bonus on everything that I do, like that type of thing where everything I did before actually becomes more valuable if I just do a little bit more. I love those types of those plans, which is great. Samantha, what's up? Thanks for joining here at the end, sneaking in. Appreciate having you on. She said, wouldn't it be weird to have a sales call with no objections? It would be like, I wouldn't believe that they were actually interested. If I had a sales call and the person was just like, yep, cool, sounds good. I don't even know if I'd take that seriously, So I think you almost have to have objections to kind of know someone's serious about this or thinking about it, right?
Yeah. Oh, you should at least have an objection to understand if you even have a good sales rep on the phone. Like I love when I get, as a sales guy, I love getting cold called. Like that's my favorite thing in the world.
Me too.
Because I'm immediately in train mode. Listen, I'm an easy close. If you just do a halfway decent job with like a basic sales structure, you got me. Unless it's just crazy expensive, you got me. If it's buying a T-shirt or something on, you got me. So it's just literally being a good person.
Being doing cold calling. I did door-to-door sales in Oregon, walking into offices and meeting people the first time. Somebody comes to my house and wants to just to pitch me. I'm like, let's go, let's do it. What do you got? I'm all for it, trying to support them and all that. So no, it's great. Hey, listen, we're actually over 30 minutes. This went really fast as it always does. Gunnar, appreciate you being on the show, man. Appreciate your experience. There's so much more we could talk about. Look forward to having you back on again soon, man.
Yeah. Hey, let's do it. Let's get you on mine as well. We can go a little bit more long form on that one. Is that cool?
Oh, I'd love that, man. That'd be great. A lot to talk about. Awesome. And everybody else is watching. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your week. And it is Friday, so a couple things. Finish Strong Friday. Make sure you come back at noon Central for Word on the Street. We got Tyler Robinson of Diesel Laptops as our special guest today, along with the Street Crew, so it's going to be great. And then right back here on Monday, we've got Robin Hyra, the Director of Technology at R2 Logistics, going to be on the show. So come back for that show. And every day at 10:30 a.m. Central for an episode of Standing Out, daily podcast about sales, marketing, leadership. You guys have a fabulous weekend. Gunnar, thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Have a good one.
Take care. See ya.